Hey guys, and welcome back to After the Run. It's been a hiatus and I'm kind of embarrassed, but let me tell you where we're at with things. So yesterday after class, one of my students, I was just staying and visiting with a few of my students, and one of them asked me if I had ever done a podcast before, and he was thinking of doing a podcast and just wanted some pointers. And so I told him kind of my experience with podcasting. I'd done a few, but it had been in the past and it had been a while. But at some point it came up, what was your podcast about? And I said, well, I did a health podcast about losing, in a year I lost 100 pounds, and I documented that process. And the look he gave me was so sad, because it was kind of like, yeah, right, mixed with, well, it didn't really do you any good. And he didn't really mean anything by it, but I was still embarrassed because I don't look like someone who's lost 100 pounds. I look like someone who's gained 100 pounds, and I have, right? And so at that time I thought I need to make some changes, and it's hard because I experience a yo-yo life. It's not a yo-yo diet, it's a yo-yo life because I don't believe in work-life balance. I think we have different seasons for different things. And so let me just explain what's happened in the last 5 years or so and where we're at now and what led to this episode. Okay, so first let's rewind to 2018. I'm at a new job as an elementary school teacher. It's stressful, I'm commuting, and my weight had gotten out of hand. And so finally my wife sat me down and said, we need to make some changes, meaning you need to make some changes. She was worried that I would pass away because I was so obese. And so it was touching how she came to me. I did decide I needed to make some changes. I set up a plan, I stuck with it, and over a year I lost 100 pounds, and it was incredible. What was even more incredible, oh, check this out, there's some deer. Can you see them? Oh my gosh, that's so cool. So we interrupt our regularly scheduled program for a deer crossing. Very cool. Anyhow, so in 2018, 2019, I lost 100 pounds. In the second year, so now we're going into COVID, into 2020, I actually increased my strength training. I gained some muscle, so I gained about 20 pounds, but my body fat got down to 11%. So healthiest time of my adult life in 2020. However, since 2020, I switched jobs again, things have changed in my life, and every year the weight's kind of crept back on to where last year I hit another high at 290. So my highest back in 2018 was 306, and that's the heaviest I've ever been in my life. But then I got down to about 200, and then it kind of plateaued around between 220, 240 for a few years, and that was pretty good. And then it started creeping back on, and I started last year, 2025, at 290. And so at that time, and I probably filmed a video back then that's on this channel, and I lost some weight last year. I lost like 35 pounds. I got down to about 255, I think. And then in the last part of the year, during the winter months, I gained some of that back. So this year, I started at 265. And I felt good about that. I was like, all right, I can lose a few more pounds this year, get back down to that 240, and that was kind of the goal to start this year. But then I measure my life in trimesters because I'm a school teacher. So during the spring trimester, some things happened where it was hard to maintain my health. I pulled a hamstring, and I had something really weird with my shoulder, and I already have foot problems. So I was feeling old man syndrome, and I stayed off it for a while. But then I came back, I was playing ultimate frisbee with my son, and I hadn't fully healed my hamstring, so I was overcompensating, and I pulled my other one. And so that was about 6 weeks ago, and I haven't done any real exercise since then. I walk regularly and I stretch a lot, but I really wanted to rehab this so I could get back. And so basically for the last several months, I haven't done very much running at all. I haven't done much lifting at all. My shoulder is feeling better now, so I can hit the gym again, but I have to be really careful kind of easing back into things. Now, the reason I say work-life balance is kind of a myth and I have a yo-yo life is it sounds like things were bad, right? That these last 3 months were really bad. And the truth is, typically in my life, when I'm being healthier, physically healthy, other things also improve. And 2018, 2019 was a very productive time for me. I wrote a few books. I did a lot of speaking, switching jobs and trying new things. It was great. But this last few months where I kind of started the year at that 265 and then got busy with stuff and my health took the back seat, I actually ballooned up to, last night I weighed in at 280.2, and which is so embarrassing to say out loud. But so I've gained like 15 pounds in really just a few weeks. And so is that horrible for my life? I must be doing, no, actually these last 3 months might have been the best 3 months of my entire life. My kids are doing incredible things and I've been there to support them through it. Me and my wife have reached a few milestones for our family, and personally I've really focused on spirituality and community service, and I've been able to do some cool things in the last few months. It's been a really good and a happy time of my life. I just haven't done very well health-wise. So that leads me to this video podcast. When I told my student advice for podcasting, I recommended he do a video podcast, having never done one myself, because I feel like that's the future. I think the best search engine right now is YouTube, because that's where everybody's watching video, and that has just gained momentum over the last several years. And so I thought, if I do a podcast, I want to do a video podcast. Even if you don't see me, maybe it's just an image and you hear me talking, but I love listening to podcasts. But when I stopped doing my podcast 5 years ago, there was a lot of work involved with finding a host, getting it connected to all the streams and stuff. And I don't know, maybe it's still tricky like that today, but I thought, I know how to do YouTube. I have several YouTube channels. I enjoy doing YouTube. And so I'm going to do a YouTube podcast. Now, what's the format for this podcast going to be? If you are thinking, maybe this is something I want to subscribe to, why would I want to? Let me first say, this is mostly for me. When I did my journey before and documented what I was learning and what I was doing, it was my accountability partner. It helped me to lose weight. And that's what I need right now in my life. And so this video podcast, mostly for me, is just about accountability and documenting the things that are working. Now that said, you might be trying to lose weight too. And this is a great community where you can hop in the comments and I'll write back to you on what you're doing and what's working for you, how that connects with what I'm working on. And this could be a really supportive community. So I do want to make it public. Also, I'm a school teacher. That's what I do, is I try to teach. I became a school teacher so that I could help people improve their lives long term, not just memorize stuff. And so I'm here for that, and so I want to bring you along on this journey if you want to be here. Now, the only way this works for me is if it isn't too much work. So this talking head style video, where you'll notice I'm going back and forth on this trail near my house. I pause it when a dog or a person passes, or when an airplane goes by, or when there's a deer crossing. That's kind of going to be the format. And if this makes you motion sick because I don't have a gimbal, I just brought my phone out because I just went running and listened to my podcast, right? The things I want to listen to. So that's going to be kind of the format, at least for now. It is going to be a video podcast, and the way I plan on structuring it is each week I want to report how things are going. So I'll have certain things that I keep track of, and I'll report. Then I'll talk about kind of the main thing for the week that I was focusing on, how it worked or didn't work, what I learned about it. And then at the end of the episode, I'll give kind of my challenge for the next week. And it might be 2 or 3 things, but typically it would be 1. Now, for this week 0, where I'm just setting things up, the reporting was telling you the story and how I got to where I be. So check that. We did that already. As far as what I'm focusing on, the challenge for me was simply to film this first video. It requires me to be vulnerable, to admit things to myself and to others. And it's hard to start over. The thumbnail will probably be something like, I failed again, because I've tried this many, many times, and maybe you can relate to that. That health matters. I want to be around for a long time. Right now, my children are awesome, but I don't want to model bad eating habits and health habits for them. I want them to live good, healthy, productive lives. And so I need to make a change. So now my challenge for next week, this is what I'm going to hold myself accountable to. And there's going to be 3 small things. The first one I can do right away, and that's scheduling. Sorry, car's coming. I found I get more done if it's on my calendar. And even my students, when they ask for advice, how do you get so much done? Because I do accomplish a lot. And I often say, you have to put it on your calendar and prioritize it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna schedule for Monday, Wednesday, Friday for the next several months, just a repeating thing. I have to find out when the sun comes up, and then I wanna beat the sun out of bed a few days a week. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, those are days where I'm gonna be out on this trail. I'm gonna put that on my calendar with a notification, and I hate notifications. I don't like being interrupted in my life, so I disable almost all notifications. But for this one, I'm gonna make a notification. I'm gonna put it on my calendar. So that's challenge 1. Now, challenge number 2 is setting up the structure for what I'll report each week and how I'll keep track of things. So I have a spreadsheet that I've developed. I've used it for years, and it's actually really effective in helping me keep track of things. When I keep track of things, I do better with my health. And so this spreadsheet has boxes for, did I have good sleep last night? Am I intermittent fasting? Have I done cardio exercise? Did I eat snacks that day or not? What about added sugar? So I have this spreadsheet. I'm gonna have to prep it, update it, set a day 0 or a day 1, and start regularly filling that out. So that's my challenge 2. And my third challenge, and this might be the hardest one, even though it doesn't take a lot of time, is I have to film video number 2. I have to be willing to come back next week, probably on a Friday, and publish again and tell you how this first week went. And that's scary to me. It's easy to do the first video. It's a lot harder to do the second video and the third video. And so that's what I'm gonna try to do for you. If you see this video by any chance, I still have a few subscribers on the channel. If you see this and you're in your weight loss journey and you want to continue on with me through this, drop me a comment. Let me know what you're working on. And that might influence some of the challenges I do over the next few months. But I want to take control of my health again, so here I am. Thanks for being here. Bye.